Imagine stumbling upon an ancient text, one that has lingered in the shadows of history, potentially upending everything you thought you knew about time, spirituality, and the very fabric of existence. What if the calendar we adhere to is not merely a tool for scheduling our lives, but a carefully constructed distortion, an intentional maneuver designed to sever our connections to the natural and cosmic rhythms that govern our universe? How would this revelation transform our understanding of life itself? Today, we delve into the unsettling mysteries surrounding a 1775 Bible, a document that beckons us to question long-held beliefs about time and the spiritual dimensions of our lives. The premise is intriguing. What if the first month of the year was not January, as we have come to believe, but March? Why does the concept of a 13th month seem almost foreign to our contemporary understanding? As we peel back the layers of history, we'll uncover how ancient civilizations viewed time, not as a linear progression marked by calendars and clocks, but as a cyclical dance aligned with the natural world. This journey is not just about the calendar. It is about awakening to a deeper understanding of our existence. Let's begin by reflecting on the ancient practices that shaped our understanding of time. For many cultures, the vernal equinox was a pivotal moment, a time of rebirth and renewal that coincided with the agricultural cycles vital to survival. In ancient Rome, the month of March, known as Martius, heralded the beginning of the year. It was more than just a change in the calendar. It was a spiritual awakening linked to the god Mars, who represented both war and agriculture. This month symbolized the dawn of spring, the rejuvenation of life after the bleakness of winter. This notion of starting the year in March wasn't unique to the Romans. Other ancient societies, like the Persians, celebrated the arrival of spring with festivals marking the new year at the equinox. The Nowruz festival, rooted in Zoroastrian tradition, embodies themes of renewal, light overcoming darkness, and the cyclical nature of existence. These cultures revered the equinox not just as a seasonal change, but as a sacred moment embodying balance between light and dark, a metaphor for the cycles of life itself. However, the introduction of the Julian calendar by Julius Caesar in 46 BC marked a pivotal moment in history, fundamentally altering humanity's relationship with time. Prior to this shift, many ancient cultures, including the Romans, followed lunar or lunisolar calendars that were deeply intertwined with natural cycles and spiritual observances. These calendars reflected a worldview in which time was seen as cyclical, aligning with the changing seasons, the phases of the moon, and the rhythms of the earth. However, Caesar's desire to bring order to the Roman calendar, previously prone to irregularities and manipulation, led to a dramatic change. His reforms sought to align the calendar more closely with the solar year, thereby prioritizing uniformity and predictability over the spiritual and agricultural markers that had once guided society. By instituting January as the first month of the year, rather than the traditional March, Caesar's reforms symbolized a profound cultural shift. The Roman calendar had previously started in March, reflecting its connection to the vernal equinox, a time of renewal and rebirth closely tied to agricultural cycles and spiritual symbolism. In contrast, January, named after Janus, the Roman god of doors and transitions, became the new beginning. While Janus represented beginnings, his connection to political power and the empire's military might suggested that this calendar shift was less about aligning with nature and more about establishing political and social order. By moving the start of the year to January, Caesar emphasized the importance of Roman governance and the stability of the state over the natural world's cyclical rhythms. This transition also reflected the growing power of the Roman state and its desire to impose structure on society. By aligning the calendar with the solar year, Caesar hoped to avoid the confusion and manipulation that had plagued the earlier Roman calendar. The lunar system, with its cycles of 29 or 30 days, often required adjustments, leading to discrepancies and opportunities for political leaders to extend their terms of office. The Julian calendar, with its 365 days and leap years, provided a more stable and predictable system, but it came at the cost of severing ties with the deeper spiritual and agricultural roots of timekeeping. Yet, this change was not universally embraced, nor was it immediately adopted across the Roman Empire. In fact, even centuries later, certain regions maintained their attachment to older calendars. England, for example, continued to celebrate the new year on March 25, known as Lady Day, until as late as 1752. This date was significant not only because it marked the Annunciation, when the angel Gabriel appeared to the Virgin Mary, but also because it corresponded to the agricultural calendar. In many parts of the world, the end of March coincides with the first signs of spring, a time when life begins to re-emerge after the cold and barren winter. The continued observance of Lady Day, as the start of the year in England, served as a reminder of the deep spiritual connection that people once had to the natural world, even as political powers sought to impose a more standardized, solar-based calendar. The Julian calendar's impact reached far beyond just the dates on a page. It marked a shift in how societies perceived time and their relationship to the cosmos. No longer would time be dictated by the cycles of the moon or the changing seasons. It was now governed by a system designed to serve the needs of political stability and social order. This marked the beginning of a long-standing tension between the natural, cyclical understanding of time and the more linear, rigid systems imposed by human institutions, a tension that would continue to shape the way we experience and understand time for centuries to come. The adoption of the Gregorian calendar in 1582 further solidified the shift to January as the start of the year, but this change was met with resistance and debate. The implications of moving the new year to January extend beyond mere dates. It symbolizes a profound departure from the natural rhythms that once guided human life, replacing them with an artificial order dictated by political agendas and economic needs. This evolution in how we perceive time has had lasting effects on our relationship with the cosmos. By adopting a calendar that begins in January, societies transitioned from a cyclical, organic view of existence to a more rigid, linear understanding. The natural harmony that characterized ancient cultures gave way to a system that prioritized predictability and control over spiritual and natural connections. But while we explore the deeper mysteries of time and spiritual alignment, there's another powerful secret waiting to be unlocked, a discovery rooted in cutting-edge neuroscience. He neuroscientist reveals a groundbreaking 7-second Tesla ritual that's said to attract wealth effortlessly. Imagine the potential of aligning yourself with the forces that can transform your financial destiny. Don't miss out on this life-changing opportunity. Check the link in the first pinned comment below to discover how this simple practice could change everything for you. Now let's get back into the exploration. One of the most significant shifts in how time has been perceived throughout history is the elevation of Sunday as the first day of the week, a transformation that reflects profound changes in religious thought and cultural practices. To understand the importance of this transition, we must first consider the deeply ingrained tradition of Saturday or Shabbat within Judaism. For the Jewish people, Saturday has always been a sacred day, a time set apart for rest and reflection. According to the biblical creation story in Genesis, God created the world in 6 days and rested on the seventh, establishing Shabbat as a holy day, a pause in the cycle of creation. This day was not just about physical rest, but about spiritual renewal, a covenant between the Jewish people and God. It was a reminder of humanity's connection to the divine, an opportunity to reflect on the Creator's work and the gift of life itself. Shabbat served as a spiritual anchor, reinforcing the importance of cycles in Jewish life, cycles of work and rest, creation and reflection, renewal and continuity. It marked the culmination of the week, symbolizing the importance of completion before the beginning of a new cycle. This deep-rooted practice reflected an organic understanding of time, one that was intimately connected to both spiritual and natural rhythms. However, as Christianity began to emerge in the 1st century CE, a new focus began to take shape. Early Christians, while initially observing many Jewish traditions, gradually shifted their attention from the seventh day to the first day of the week, Sunday. This transition was deeply symbolic, reflecting the central event in Christian theology, the resurrection of Jesus Christ. According to Christian belief, Jesus rose from the dead on a Sunday, representing new life, hope, and the promise of eternal salvation. In the Christian worldview, the resurrection marked the beginning of a new era, not only in spiritual terms, but also in how time itself was perceived. It was seen as the ultimate renewal, a fresh start for humanity. Over time, Sunday became increasingly important in Christian practice, gradually overshadowing the traditional observance of Saturday. For early Christians, Sunday was more than just a day of rest. It was a day to celebrate life, rebirth, and the triumph of light over darkness, all themes that resonated deeply with the Christian message. As Christianity grew in influence, this new rhythm of time, beginning the week with a celebration of the resurrection, spread throughout the Roman Empire and beyond. A critical turning point in this transformation came in the early 4th century, when Emperor Constantine, the first Roman emperor to convert to Christianity, played a pivotal role in shaping the religious and cultural landscape of the empire. In 321 CE, Constantine officially declared Sunday as the day of rest throughout the Roman Empire. By aligning this day with the veneration of the resurrection, Constantine helped cement Sunday's place as a cornerstone of Christian observance. His declaration was not only a reflection of his personal religious beliefs, but also a strategic political move. By formalizing Sunday as the day of rest, Constantine strengthened the influence of Christianity, while also unifying the empire under a common time structure. This shift from Saturday to Sunday as the primary day of rest and worship had profound implications, not only for religious practice, but also for societal structure. In adopting Sunday as the new day of spiritual focus, Christian communities distanced themselves from their Jewish roots, distinguishing their practices and identity. This new order of time placed an emphasis on beginnings rather than endings, aligning with the Christian narrative of resurrection and renewal. The week no longer culminated in a sacred pause at the end, but instead began with a focus on new life, setting the tone for the days that followed. The adoption of Sunday as the first day of the week also had a wider cultural impact, influencing how society structured work, leisure, and religious observance. Over time, Sunday became a day not only for worship but for community gathering, reinforcing the centrality of the Christian faith in daily life. It reoriented people's relationship with time, prioritizing the idea of new beginnings and spiritual renewal over the traditional cycles of completion and reflection that had been observed under the Jewish framework. In many ways, this transformation marked a shift from a cyclical view of time, one that emphasized the balance of work and rest, creation and reflection, to a more linear perspective, where time became a forward-moving progression toward an ultimate spiritual goal. This reordering of time reflects a broader cultural shift that favored the new Christian worldview, and it has continued to shape how time is understood and practiced in the Western world to this day. The decision to elevate Sunday altered the cultural and spiritual fabric of society. This reorganization of the week not only distinguished Christians from Jews, but also reshaped how communities understood rest and renewal. Rather than culminating the week with introspection and reflection, the focus shifted to beginnings and new life, emphasizing vitality over the conclusion of cycles. This shift also affected how societies structured their lives and worked. By placing the day of spiritual renewal at the beginning of the week, the Christian worldview centered on the resurrection and new beginnings, changing the rhythm of life itself. The emphasis on renewal redefined societal practices and influenced the organization of work and leisure, reinforcing a perception of time that is more rigid and less cyclical. As we navigate through these historical transformations, we encounter the intriguing concept of the 13-month lunar calendar. Ancient civilizations, including the Sumerians, Egyptians, and Babylonians, aligned their calendars with lunar cycles. Each lunar month, lasting approximately 29.5 days, would culminate in a year of about 354 days. This system inherently required the addition of an extra month every few years to synchronize with the solar calendar, leading to the adoption of a 13-month year. The significance of the 13th month extends beyond mere arithmetic. It embodies a deep spiritual connection to the natural world. In ancient cultures, the phases of the moon mirrored the cycles of life, death, and rebirth. Each month held unique qualities and energies, believed to influence both nature and human experiences. These lunar cycles allowed people to live in harmony with the cosmos, aligning their activities with the rhythms of nature. The number 13, often deemed unlucky in modern contexts, was considered sacred in various ancient traditions. For example, in Mayan culture, the Tzolk'in calendar comprised 13 cycles of 20 days, guiding important events such as rituals and royal ceremonies. The abandonment of the 13th month, therefore, may reflect a broader cultural shift away from lunar practices, which became marginalized in favor of more linear and manageable solar systems. This shift from lunar to solar calendars signifies a fundamental change in how humanity perceives time and its connection to the universe. As societies distance themselves from lunar cycles, they may have lost more than just a month. They lost a way of understanding their place in the cosmos, a connection that allowed for a deeper spiritual awareness and engagement with the natural world. The idea of reintroducing a 13-month calendar aligned with lunar cycles invites profound possibilities for rekindling our connection to the natural rhythms of life. Imagine a world where our days are organized around the moon's phases, where agriculture, spirituality, and daily life are in sync with the cosmic forces that shape our existence. This realignment could foster a greater sense of harmony, not just within ourselves, but also within our communities and the environment. A return to a 13-month system could encourage societies to embrace a cyclical worldview, one that recognizes time as an infinite loop of transformation rather than a straight line. By doing so, we might regain a deeper appreciation for the interconnectedness of all life, paving the way for a more holistic understanding of existence. As we revisit the 1775 Bible, it becomes evident that this text is more than just a historical artifact. It is a potential vessel of esoteric knowledge, encoded with insights meant to challenge our perceptions of time and spirituality. Created during a period rich with occult activity and the influence of secret societies, this Bible may harbor hidden truths about the cycles of time and cosmic energies. The alterations made to the calendar and the elevation of Sunday suggest deliberate actions aimed at steering humanity away from profound spiritual truths. The number 13, often linked to transformation and awakening, has been marginalized throughout history, perhaps as a means to conceal deeper insights into our existence. Could it be that those in power recognized the potential of this number and sought to diminish its significance? As we explore these themes, we are left with a series of thought-provoking questions. What would our world look like if we maintained the 13-month calendar? Would our relationship with time, spirituality, and nature transform? By aligning our lives with lunar and cosmic cycles, could we access a deeper level of consciousness and understanding? The changes made throughout history, whether by intention or accident, have undeniably altered our perception of existence. The transition from March to January, the establishment of Sunday as the first day of the week, and the abandonment of the 13th month represent more than simple adjustments. They mark a departure from the natural and spiritual cycles that once governed human life. As we stand at the intersection of history and spirituality, the invitation to explore these ancient practices becomes increasingly compelling. The 1775 Bible, with its cryptic messages and hidden knowledge, encourages us to embark on a journey of discovery. It beckons us to question the status quo and seek out the wisdom that lies beneath the surface of our daily lives. Ultimately, this exploration serves as a reminder that our understanding of time and spirituality is not static. It is an evolving narrative, shaped by history, culture, and consciousness. As we peel back the layers of our calendars and the stories we tell ourselves, we can awaken to the profound truths waiting to be discovered. The quest for knowledge is an ongoing journey, one that calls for courage and curiosity. We are challenged not just to observe the world around us, but to engage with it, embracing the mysteries of time, nature, and spirit. So, as we conclude this exploration, let us reflect on our own relationship with time and consider how we might realign our lives with the cycles that connect us to the universe. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the ancient and the esoteric. If you found this exploration enlightening, consider subscribing and sharing your thoughts in the comments below. What do you believe about the nature of time and its impact on our lives? Let's continue this conversation as we delve deeper into the mysteries that shape our existence.